So before we start the video, I'm editing it currently, and it just got brought to my attention via some research that Trajan Langdon, as a player, his agent was Arntellum. So yeah, did not know that while we were recording. Just found it out. Let's just get to the fucking video. I'll see you guys after. The Detroit Pistons have finally hired a new president of basketball operations, and that person is former now New Orleans Pelicans GM Trajan Langdon. And if you guys don't know who he is as a player, before we get to the executive and his career after playing basketball and just being in the NBA, he was a former Blue Devil for Duke, played basketball there, was drafted in the first round. And he played some time in the NBA, but then proceeded to go overseas and had a very successful career overseas. I mean, he played in different countries and won cups. He's an Italian Cup winner, Turkish League champion, EuroLeague Final Four MVP, two-time EuroLeague champion, three-time Russian Cup champion. So he's played a lot overseas and has had success overseas as a player. Here's where it gets very interesting. Okay, you look at the Pelicans and you look at who they've drafted, and they haven't drafted bad at all. They found some really good players. But this is someone that obviously the Pistons decided to hire because Tim Connolly with the Timberwolves currently and has an opt-out after his contract. The Timberwolves advanced. So that timetable now for getting a Tim Connolly just kind of got extended. And the Pistons now got to hire a president of basketball operations because the draft's in a couple of weeks away. It's only a couple of weeks away. So they have to make a decision. And I personally think this was the best decision. I do. I like Trajan Langdon. I know there's a lot of moves that need to be made. There's decisions that need to be made. Are the Pistons going to keep Troy Weaver? Probably not, but we shall see. That would be up to Trajan Langdon, assumingly. So for him to come in, he's got a lot of work to do. But here's what I do like about him. The familiarity with overseas and kind of understanding this is where the NBA is going, guys. Look at all the European players in the league and look at all the European superstars. To have a president of basketball operations that also has worked in scouting. He was with the Spurs, I believe 2012 to 2015. I have to double check that. Yes, he was 2012 to 2015. And before he was the assistant general manager of the Nets in 2016 and then went to become the general manager of the New Orleans Pelicans in 2019. But we all know what those Spurs teams looked like from 2012 to 2015. Okay. We know a lot of European players. And again, like I said, a lot of familiarity there, which I think is a good thing. Seems like a very, very smart guy. And, you know, I'm curious what the first move he'll make will be. Is it going to be, hey, he's going to walk in, fire Troy Weaver? How is he going to acquire talent, or at least help acquire talent? You look at the connection he has, right? Former Pelicans GM, who's on the Pelicans right now that the Pistons might be interested in, Mr. Brandon Ingram. Maybe that could help with a potential deal. But I like his resume. I like his background. Do I know is this an absolute 100% home run hire? I don't know. But based on his resume, that's really all we have to go off of. I do like it. I do. And I do think he was deserving of some sort of promotion. You know, I was watching some Pelicans, local Pelicans media. Just check it. That's how I always like to do that. Whenever a organization here in Detroit hires anyone outside the organization, I'll check out content in those cities and see what they think. And there's mixed opinions on Trajan Langdon. They said, you know, he wasn't a big part of the decision making, but at the same time, he was always an influence, but didn't quite have the voice that I think he wanted. So now with Detroit, he has more control. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out. The Pistons are at an all-time low as an organization. They have, you know, a collection of young talent, but the pieces. I mean, what do you do with some of these pieces? You know, is he on the side of we got to get proven talent for Cade Cunningham? Offseason star is already here. It's already started for the Pistons. Free agency is going to kick in. The draft's going to kick in. And I'm just glad they finally got a hire. And I want to know what you guys think on it. You know, like I said, I like the hire, but I just think it's hard not to have doubt creep in considering where the Pistons are. You know, like it just seems like nothing will make this team better. Nothing will help this organization get not just over the top, but get just into contending for the playoffs. So I would like to hear this man speak. That's where I'm looking forward to. Just hearing him speak. Kind of seeing his vision for the organization. I do think he's someone that he's a little younger too, which I'm always a fan of those hires. I mean, he's 48 years old. And, I do think he was deserving of this job, deserving of a opportunity. So again, I like it. I like the overseas background, probably knows a lot of people overseas. And, you're going to need that because you're going to be picking probably high in the draft this year and probably next year. So him being a former scout, now being a GM, now being a president of basketball operations for the Pistons, I'm curious how it all works. But what are your guys' opinion on it? I know it's hard to have one because we haven't heard him speak, and he's not a big name where people just immediately recognize it, like Tim Connolly. Tim Connolly's built organizations, franchises. He's made them relevant. He's made organizations relevant. So yeah, I am. I'm still skeptical, but I am hopeful. Because that's all you really have at this point. But he's going to have a very hard job in front of him. A lot of pressure on him, but maybe he appreciates the challenge. And I'm pretty certain they paid him well too. But like I said, comment down below. What do you guys think of the hire? This just happened probably about 10 minutes ago. And I just came back from working out, so I probably look a little sweaty. But hey, I wanted to make this video for you guys. Kind of give my early thoughts on it. I'm sure we'll talk about it more on the show. And as more information comes out and specifics and him speaking to the media, I'll have more of an opinion. But comment down below. Tell me what you think. Don't forget, like the video and subscribe because we're about to hit 7,000 subscribers. Thanks to you guys. So much appreciated. Until next time, I'll catch you guys.